Hello and welcome back. My name is Cami Hoyza, and I am the founder of Smart Social Mastery and the CEO of Zoetica Media, a social media agency in Houston, Texas. Hey, today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest questions that I get from most people, which is how do I find my clients, my whatever you want to call them, clients, stakeholders, whatever you call them for your business? How do I find them online, and how do I connect with them and attract attention? But the biggest thing is, how do I find them? So I really want to dig into like that. So how do you find your clients online? How do you get them to start interacting with you and also grow your business? So I know that a lot of us use social media 100% for our own, personal use and everything else. And so do your clients. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're in the middle of a video series. It's a 7-part video series. And this is the fourth video. I mean, we're kind of moving through pretty quick. So this is called the architect stage. So I'm just going to pull that up so you can see what it's all about. So we've gone over a overview of everything a couple of weeks ago. Then we did the explorer stage, which is all about you and how you can stand out on social media. I have the Pathway to Video series link at the bottom right now so that you can go see all of these there. So I've put them together in a really cool little hub. You just have to register for it, jump in there, and you can start seeing everything from the beginning, and you can have a handle on this. Also, you won't miss the ones that are coming in the next week or so. So we are now on the architect stage. In the explorer stage, we're working on you. In the connector stage, we were really working on your audience and who they are and what they like and sort of who they are. So that's a really deep dive. So I'm not going to do too much of that part today, although I will be going into the details of where they might be hanging out online and how you can find them. And then that is what today is all about, is building that platform. Like, where are you going to stand out on social media? Where are you going to stake your claim? So I don't know where you are right now. I'd love for you to tell me. I'm going to pull up my comments here so I can see you. I can definitely see everybody's comments. So definitely let me know you're here. Say hi. That is absolutely the truth. So we're going to talk about, where do you need to stake your claim for your business purposes for social media? So making really clear that I'm talking about social media and business and growing your business. And I also had a little subhead about why followers don't matter, but you're going to have to wait for just a minute, and I'll explain that exactly what I mean in just a second. So I'm going to open this up and just show you the slides. I have a very few slides, not many, just a little illustrative so we don't get lost in the place. But really, like, what platform should you be on? So I don't know about you, but let me know in the comments, like, say yes or absolutely or something like that. Write yes in the comments if you are a little bit overwhelmed by all of the choices that we have these days in social media. Like, where should you be staking your claim, right? Like, should it be LinkedIn, or do I still need to use Facebook, or is Facebook dead? I know a lot of people feel like blogs are dead. Blogs are not dead. I'll explain that in a minute too. But really, where do you right now spend most of your time on social media? That's the other thing I wanted to ask today. So number one, are you feeling a little bit overwhelmed by it? And number two, where do you feel most comfortable? Yeah, Nina says LinkedIn. Absolutely. Love that. So yeah, as you say it, I'll pull them in. And I think a lot of people are moving over to LinkedIn for business purposes. You think LinkedIn, business, it seems to fit together. But what are you making your decisions based on? So today I'm going to just really talk all around that. Like, what decisions do you make how do you make your decisions about which platform to be on? And sort of, I have some data for you, because I'm always like that. I'll show you the data. I'm going to roll it out for you and you can look at it yourself. But in the meanwhile, where you're comfortable is also important, because you're going to have to make sure you're showing up there all the time. So that's number one. So yeah, I'm a little bit overwhelmed too. We're going to go over some critical questions that I think that we need to ask. So I'm going to really quickly run through these critical questions that you need to be asking yourself. And then, take some notes on this. Definitely, you want to answer these questions. So don't walk away from this, like, make sure you screenshot what I'm about to show you, so you answer these questions for yourself. Also, you can go to my awesome link that I just had up there, and I'll pull it up again, that you can go and get in here and actually get access to all of this stuff, so that you can go back and look at it over and over again. So bit.ly Pathway video series, make sure you go grab that. Cool. And it just made me think I should probably throw the slides in there too. So Boy, you guys are making me work. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to put the slides in there too. I just thought that through a little bit. So yeah, definitely that will be there as well. So let me just jump into these questions. Hopefully you realize that now you need to be taking notes. So hopefully you grabbed a piece of paper or something like that. And I'm going to turn that off for a minute and turn that off for a minute. Hold on so you can see and turn myself off. There you go. So these are the questions you're asking yourself. Where do my clients search for business resources? This may or may not be on social media. So let's just be real clear. A lot of people use all kinds of resources for finding business resources. So like, where would your clients be looking for that? Is it Google? Is it trade associations where they're members? Is it professional development that they're looking for? You want to be really clear about where they are currently looking for information. And social media is part of that, but you need to understand that they all come together, because remember, a lot of these organizations and places that people are looking for their information also appear on social media. So you want to understand that all of these communications channels are connected. And I think sometimes we think of like social media being this thing and media relations being this thing and professional development and that kind of thing being another thing. But the truth is they all work together in tandem, right? So I want you to think about where your clients search for business resources to get better at their jobs, to get things accomplished, because you want to start showing up there. So either in person, which is also a part of this too, because both offline and online need to work together. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever gone to a conference or something like that, and you met up with somebody that you'd only ever met online or only have ever seen online or connected with online, and it feels like you've known each other forever? Right? Have you ever had that feeling like you feel like you've known that person forever because you've been talking with them on social media for a long time? I think, especially the pandemic kind of like dying down, I don't know if it's not really dying down, but the way we're acting is dying down, and going back out in person and being back in person events, I think you're going to see that's going to happen a lot to you if it hasn't already. So definitely tell me in the comments, has this happened to you? Yes. Say yes, Cami. Definitely has happened to me. So I know for me, it has. I mean, there's people that I've been friends with online for a decade or more, and sometimes we've never met in person. And then when we do, it feels like home, right? It feels like this person is somebody that you go up and give them a big hug. Yeah, Bart, you would be one of those people too, by the way. So you just give them a big hug and you're like so excited to see them because you know them, like they're your friends, right? Even if they were digitally. So I want us to remember that the way that we have to look at social media is more holistic than just the platform. So that's number one. So if you're, I know for me, a lot of the people that I work with and that hire my agency, they are members of PRSA. They're members of the Independent Practitioners Alliance, Bart, and they are members of Solo PR Pros, which is, an awesome organization that's out there that they're part of. So I know that they do that. So I often will, show up to those meetings and I'll try to connect with them. And I will also be a speaker sometimes for those types of meetings, so people can get to know me and know and trust me. And so that's all social media based as well, right? Because you build your reputation on the social media platform, and then people will ask you to come to real and in-person and live events. Yes, Elena says, yes, it's happening for sure. So I just really feel like we all have those kinds of people that we're going to meet. So I want you to think about that really carefully. Like, where are your clients, the people that are your perfect client or your perfect customer, where are they currently looking for information? Now, some of them might be looking on Google and doing Google searches for things. Especially if you're a client, if you're a service-based type of person. And so you may want to have that blog. Remember, I told you having a blog is still kind of important because it makes you searchable on Google. I mean, that still is a thing. Okay. So it may not be that people are going there looking for your stuff specifically because it's you, although those still exist too. So thinking about blogging as being a part of the social media ecosystem is really important. And in a couple of steps, I'm going to be going over this whole ecosystem, but I really want you to start thinking much broader than like, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, because it's really about building an entire platform around your brand and using these social media touch points as the places where you're going to bring people into your, what I call the hive. And I'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. But the hive is really about what you want to build, because that's more what you own, right? Like, so a hosted platform, like a website, a blog, with a blog on it or something that really draws in Google. So I still get, thousands of people that go to my agency website every month, and they're going there because they're reading stuff that's being pulled for them from Google to one of the 600 articles that's on my blog at this point. So it's just really important to think about. You need some sort of home base, and it doesn't have to be super complicated. It can just be a single page, maybe with a blog function. You can actually use LinkedIn, for example. A lot of you are here on LinkedIn. You can use LinkedIn's blogging function, if you want to call it that, their article function, to write your blog. So you could send people there, but I'd also take a piece of that and put it over on your own platform so that you don't lose it ever. Some of it I've seen, well, one of my clients that who does it this way, they blog and then they take just a snippet of the blog and they put it on LinkedIn with the link back to the blog. So that's been kind of useful in working for him. Anyway, we've gotten a lot of traffic that way on a page that wasn't getting any traffic. So it's really, really powerful. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. I feel like I'm beating that pretty hard, but where your clients search for resources is really important. And then the second thing you want to really think about is, what are the main ways that your clients or your customers get their business, especially from a B2B perspective? Okay, so number 2 is really a B2B kind of question. So if you're listening to this and you have a product or a service, you may just want to think about where your clients will buy your service. Like, is it Amazon, whatever. But in this case, I'm talking B2B, right? So what is the main way they get their business? So I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, yeah, we have a home renovation company that is one of our clients, called Home Remedy here in Houston. And Home Remedy, they are looking for homeowners that want to change and upscale their home instead of go buy a new one or whatever, right? So they want to have something done, like an outdoor kitchen or a new bathroom or a new whatever indoor kitchen, or a porch, a patio or something like that. So we are looking at where are people looking for that, and so that's what we are trying to do always, is to show up exactly where they are getting their stuff. My other clients are more B2B, which is like a hospital system. And that is really all about, getting people to choose that hospital as their main provider. Like, you need to choose a doctor that is associated with that hospital. Then that makes, when you need a hospital, that you'll go there. And so a lot of that has to be where they get their business from, is from the doctors themselves. So there's a lot of information that we have to do around that. So you see what I'm trying to say? You always want to think about, what is the main way your clients get their business, because you want to speak. Your messages to them have to be around how you can help them do what they're trying to accomplish. And a lot of that is how you will speak on your social media and your blog and your other platforms, because you're going to help them to get their clients. Just like I'm doing for you now, I'm helping you to figure out ways to get your clients. And I know that a lot of independents and freelancers like us, if some of you are, so let me know if in the comments if you are a consultant, freelancer, or whatever you like to call yourself, and let me know what you like to call yourself. I have always called myself a consultant, but anyway, independent practitioner, solopreneur. Oh my gosh, there's so many great words for us these days. Now that we're mainstream, I've been doing this for 20 years. And when I first started, my mother thought I was weird. If she's here, hi, Mom. So anyway, we definitely want to find out exactly how they get their clients, because that's how we're going to start to manage that. And they're thinking about the same thing you are, like, where are my clients hanging out? Well, for Home Remedy, we do all of our stuff. We do it many places, but Facebook and Instagram are really important to that, because it's pictures, it's showing things, it's connections. We get tons of leads through the Facebook page. Like, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? So we have to have a presence on Facebook for that reason. So knowing exactly, kind of how your customer gets their clients helps too, to know where you should be, because you want to be in a similar place, because they're there all the time anyway, looking for their clients. So that's important. And then the next thing that I want you to ask, again, I know these are like harder than they look questions. What platforms do my clients use? And moreover, what are they using for their professional life versus their personal life? So certainly, you want to think about that. There are people that are using Facebook, like CEOs of major companies. I promise you that some of them are using Facebook and Instagram to see their grandkids, to see pictures of their grandkids, or they're talking to their family members or whatever else. And so they are there. So sometimes people say, why would I run a Facebook ad for a CEO? They don't ever hang out on social media. They're not doing that. Well, no, but yes, they are. Not all of them, obviously, not even close, but there's thousands and thousands of people. So you don't need to get all of them. You just need to get the ones that actually you want to attract. So sometimes doing a very subtle ad to grab the attention of a CEO, especially if it's around content. By the way, ads work really much better if it's not about selling things, although you can do that at some point. Again, in 2 more episodes, I'm going to be talking about the whole funnel and like what you should be saying at each point. And that one, I'll tell you that only 3% of people are ready to buy at any given time. So you need to have a much bigger message than sales, sales, sales. So ads don't have to be sales. They can actually be really out there to gather an audience, to warm them up, to make them understand who you are. And then from that, you'll get more sales later down the line. So you have to have a sort of a long view to this stuff. But what platforms are they working on, both professional and personal? So yeah, LinkedIn, absolutely 100%. I see a ton of especially mid-level executives at corporations and so on using LinkedIn really powerfully these days. It's come a long way. So I love it. But I'll show you my the demographics in just a second, so you can kind of make some discoveries, hopefully, for yourself. And then the last question that I want you to ask is, what kind of resources, both human and otherwise, does your client have on hand? So what I mean by that is that even if you get them into this whole situation where you're talking to them on social media, it's going to make a difference about like who your client is. So like, again, I was talking about the CEO, right? They may not actually be on LinkedIn. They may have their assistant go on LinkedIn and make posts for them. So you may be wasting your time sometimes trying to talk to them there. So you kind of have to understand how they're using the platforms and who they're having do this for them, right? So you want to make sure you're thinking that through as well. Okay, so that being said, I do want to get right to what I promised you, which is the demographics, which is a pretty simple thing to do. So sorry, give me a second to get this thing to give up the ghost. Oh, there we go. Yes. All right. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to make it a little bigger. I'm going to make it like so you can really see it. So this is the Pew Internet research fact sheet, and they keep it updated pretty much on a regular basis. I mean, it's not, you can see it's April 2021 here. So we're getting pretty close to them updating it again. They do update this on the regular. Okay. So you can find this as you go along, but what this is really a fact sheet about how people use social media. And so what I want to show you is all of the things that you can see here. So it shows, kind of broader trends, social media use over time, which you can see it's kind of, flattening out here in 2020 and 2021. Then you kind of look at here who uses social media. So this is really interesting because it talks about overall who's using social media and so on. But I think the next chart is the one that is the most interesting to me, which is which social media platforms are most common. And this shows you exactly what's popular right now. And you'll see a lot of people worry about Facebook being dead. There's still 69% of the population on Facebook. It is definitely leveling off. But do you see how much higher it is than any other platform except for YouTube? YouTube is also extremely popular with everybody. Now, tell me in the chat, who here doesn't go at least watch YouTube almost on a daily basis. I don't know. I mean, I'm always on YouTube. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm on there a lot more than you would think. So let me know. And I know that over at YouTube, they've made that a lot more community oriented now. They have super chats for like influencers, and they have like all kinds of things going on YouTube. But even if you don't go over there on a regular, you probably do see in the search engine results on Google that there's always a little strip of videos at the top from YouTube. Have you seen that and how that's been? And so sometimes you might click into there to get the answer to one of your questions. So YouTube is really, really powerful still, and Facebook. So these are the two big daddies right now still. And then right below it is Instagram, which is also YouTube. Sorry, Google. Facebook. Gosh, I can't say it. Meta. I should say Meta. They're really not Facebook anymore. They're Meta. Meta owns both of those. Okay, so who uses each social media platform? This is super powerful, especially when you're thinking about demographics. Now, again, these are only demographics. They're not psychographics like who, like in X industry and so on. But they are very interesting to look at, including everything from, who's on different platforms and are they men, women, their ages. It's got all of the information about their income levels, their education levels, and where they live, right? So I think this is really, really powerful, and you can pull each one based on the different ones. So YouTube versus TikTok versus Facebook and so on. So this is a really, really powerful, and I'm going to put this in the chat, and I don't know if it's going to come across. Sometimes this stuff does and sometimes it doesn't, but I will send the chat. But you can just also Google it if you can't find it, if you don't see my link when I send it here just now. Okay, yeah, here it comes. Let me know if you don't see it, but there it is. The cool thing about this, guys, is that you can actually see this. I was pointing this out the other day to the social mastery group, media mastery group, is that, you can be a little bit off on what you think. So for example, if you look at YouTube, men and women, just for example, let's just take that as an example. That's about equal on that. On WhatsApp, it's looking about equal too. But if you look over here at YouTube is Reddit is many more men, like double the men of, say, all the other platforms. So you can kind of see, even with demographics, how people are on different channels and which channels they might be on. So definitely check this out. I don't know. I think that this helps a little bit for me to know exactly where people might be hanging out in my demographic, at least. Cool. So I don't know if you saw this, and this is like such a long, I can share it, but it's such a long thing, so it won't help you. But it's basically the fact sheet, the social media fact sheet. So if you just type in Pew Research social media fact sheet, I think it will pop right up for you as well, if you don't see it. So those are the questions that I want you to ask. I'm going to go back and revisit them real quick right here. The questions are, hold on, I shall pull them up for you again. The critical questions that we need to ask about our customers and whether they're what social media platforms they're on are these. Number 1, where are my dream clients searching for business resources? Number 2, what is the main way my clients get their business? Number 3, which I will pull this so you can see it. What platforms do my clients use? Personal versus professional, just really understanding where they are. And then what kind of resources, human and otherwise, do my clients have on hand? So one of the things that I have recommended a couple of things back is to make a list of your dream clients, of who they might be, and find out like where they are on social media by doing a little research. So it's a little bit of elbow grease. You're going to have to go out and search them down and find out where they have profiles. Now, it might be personal profiles, or it could also be like company profiles. And then if you do look, especially on LinkedIn, for company profiles, you can click on it and see who's connected to that company. And then you can find out where those people are hanging out online. So being very strategic. So not about like the numbers of people that follow you. That's what I was saying. It doesn't matter how many people follow you. It matters who follows you and who you follow. And so you want to find a group of people to look for as you're going out there. And so it needs to be small, right? Like 20 or less. I'm not talking about thousands. I mean, it's really nice to have 10,000 followers, but it's much better to have relationships with 20 of the most high value people out there for your niche, for you and for who you're looking to serve. And so I think that that's really the key to this. And I think we get it kind of wrong in social media because it's all about the likes and it's like that endorphin kind of thing that's going on. Plus, I mean, it does help spread your material farther if you have more followers and more people are engaged. All of that is cool, but it really doesn't matter much if nobody actually hires you in the end of the day. That's my point, is that I really want you to start thinking a little bit differently about social media as a just another channel to have communications with people that you actually care about the most. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. That's it for today. I just wanted to really quickly come in and tell you that because it is the number one question I get asked, like, how do I find people to buy my stuff online? Well, it's because you have to be very specific about it. And there's a little work to it. There's just a little bit of work to it for you to find those people and to start connecting with them regularly. And I don't mean like selling them things. I mean, connecting with them, sharing their stuff, caring about them so that they care about you. And then guess what? They're going to remember you either to refer you to someone, or when they need somebody just like you, they're going to reach out to you and say, hey, can you help me with this? And it happens to me every day. Like literally every day this happens to me. So I know it works. I've been doing it for 20 years. Well, the social media part for 15 and, the freelancing part for 20. And really that word of mouth and that connection comes from really just caring about people, like not thinking of them as a number and caring so much about who's following you, but how many people are following you, but more about who is following you. So don't care about how many people are following you, but care about who are following you and who you are following in return. And I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Let me know. Definitely leave them in the chat and I'd be happy to answer them. If I see some before I jump off, I'll definitely answer them now. But the end of the world line is understand your client and customer and understand where they're hanging out by actually researching them. So that's really what I want to say. All right, guys, have an amazing, amazing day. And definitely make sure that you grab this free resource that I've put together. I'm so excited about it. It's a really cool set of videos that you can go look at. And once you sign in, you can actually see all of these videos, go back and revisit them, and definitely get the information you need to have a much more amazing social media presence and results. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.